Good afternoon. We'll have a call to order. It is 3 p.m. on February 10th, 2021. We'd like to call the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Due to the Governor Lujan Grisham's order limiting the number of attendees at gatherings, the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting is not open to the general public, but the public is invited to view the meeting on Sunlink Channel 10, the cityofclovis.org website, and at Facebook at City of Clovis NM City Government. And to call in with any questions, you can call 763-9200. First, we'd like to have a roll call, and will the clerk please call roll?
Chairman North?
Yes, here.
Vice Chairman Morrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Here.
Commissioner Stoll?
Here.
Commissioner Garza?
Here.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Commissioner Klein?
Thank you very much. First on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the previous meeting from December 9th, 2020. I don't believe there are any corrections to the minutes, and if there are no changes, I'd like to have a motion to approve.
So move. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? All right, so unanimous there. It's been motion carried and passed. Next, we'll go to the new business, which will be the approval of a preliminary plat of the Arbor subdivision, beginning at the southwest corner of Arbor subdivision, unit number 1 being all sorts of numbers here, 1346.08 feet north 89 degrees and 969.27 feet south 89 degrees of the east corner, quarter corner, section 5, T2N R36E. And I believe we may have somebody here to speak about that, or on a Zoom, is that correct? Perfect.
Chad Leidick should be online to talk.
Chad, Mr. Leidick, if you are ready, I'll have you swear. If you can unmute your mic and you can raise your hand, please. Do each of you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be truthful?
You say I do, I read lips.
I can see that he's saying yes, but we do need some audio.
Right. Get your mic.
Vicky, it's still not working. It shows that you're off mute, but it's the audio's not there.
You think we should maybe have them phone call in and?
There, yeah. Jan Marie, are you speaking as? You're off mute as well, but we can't hear you either. As part of the link that was sent in, there should have been a phone number as well. If you'll dial that phone number, that should patch you in.
Technology.
Yes, and we'll wait for just a minute for them to get that straightened out.
You love it sometimes, you hate it most of the time.
We just had somebody patch in with the last 2 digits of 71.
I do have a timer. Should I put them on a timer? Should I put them on a timer? Is that? No.
Yeah.
get to see Jeff very often? No, not even on video. Sometimes he shows up and watching.
Travis.
But I know when he's there though.
Oh, yeah. You hear us.
Yeah,
What if he was to call my cell phone and I put it on speaker?
No fat, no like.
well, he knows that we don't have no fat on our pork.
I've never been around somebody so picky.
Travis.
But, I mean, you like him because he's there all the time.
Well, it's
Yeah, I'll
picky, but
abstain.
yeah.
And it seems like the wait staff likes him.
They put up with him. Oh, did I say that too loud? No, they do like.
That was fun.
They miss him.
That's what I do with him.
They do miss him.
Just put up with him. I miss him too. Man. That's what happens when you let your emotional side make the decision.
Yeah.
Hey, tell Chad
Yeah,
that
that's the emotion.
I'm gonna just put him on my speakerphone.
Okay.
Okay? Okay.
Okay. Well,
Put it next to the mic though, because it's got a broadcast.
I'm sure there is.
Hey,
Okay. I'll let him know.
right?
Chad, can you hear me?
Hear me?
We might just have the
Yes, I can. I can now.
video one more time.
I don't know if
think
they
they've
can.
got chat on right now, so
I got you on my phone, but we're gonna try to get some feedback.
Okay, I'll stand by.
Turn off your speaker. To the computer.
Turn his speaker off on his computer.
Turn your speaker off on your computer.
Okay,
So, Gary,
okay.
September.
Okay. Can everybody hear that?
I can hear him.
Hear me now?
Open today. The rest.
Yes, and so just real quick, Mr. Leidick, if you don't mind, we'll have you swear in again real quick. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give will be truthful?
We can't hear him.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is truthful?
I do.
He's gonna have to repeat everything.
Okay.
So I guess what we'll do is we'll go ahead and is there anything that staff wants to say about this before Mr. Leidick goes ahead?
The request for approval of the rezoning and preliminary plat of the Iris Harbor subdivision, the rezoning from a ranchette district to residential single-family district is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. The proposed rezoning preliminary plat meets the requirements of the UDO, and there's no existing threat to public health, safety, or welfare. So with that, I'll let Mr. Leidick talk about the basic
Is there,
stuff.
and before we go into Mr. Leidick real quick, is there any specific questions anybody on the commission has for this particular project? So, I mean, that Mr. Leidick could just directly answer?
Are you ready for me?
I do have a question. It may be, and it might have been answered
Second,
over the
Chad.
course of his presentation, but want me to go ahead and ask it?
Yes, sir.
This is a question or a point of clarification, I guess. There are 3 existing units that I'm assuming are ranchettes. Since this is a proposals of a zone change from ranchette to residential RS7, were the current owners or occupants of those 3 units ask about the zone change? Are we actually bound to consult with them? That's my question.
Pete, can you repeat that question?
Well, and that could be a question for Mr. Morris.
I wish I knew it was coming. It's going to take me a few minutes to look at it.
No problem. We'll have Mr. Leidick go ahead.
Okay, go ahead with your presentation, Chad.
Okay, well, thanks for everybody trying to attend this as best we can, but I'll try and give a little history on the Iris Harbor subdivision. Development was actually started on this particular area probably back in the late 1990s, and Iris Harbor Units 1, 2, and 3 were developed at that time. All of the development that you see there exits at only one location, which is Royalton Court down at Arsenega Drive. And so the city commission felt at that time that they would request that development in this subdivision be ceased until such time as an alternate route could be established into the subdivision, because they felt like that they were getting for traffic and for safety and fire protection, that it was just too many house units exiting at only one location. So in 2009, development ceased, and now the family that originally started the Iris Arbor subdivision would like to continue the development, and there were certain criteria laid out by the Planning Commission and the City Commission in 2009, and that was that Concord Road, which is what we're now calling Iris Arbor Drive, would need to be extended northward from Arsenega Drive to provide the alternate access that the City Planning and Zoning was requesting. So what you see today is a plan to where that roadway would be extended northward, and it would not go all the way up to Llano Estacado, but would terminate along the northerly boundary of what you see now as the Iris Arbor subdivision. And we discussed this with city staff and the city manager, and they felt like that was consistent with their desires and what they were hoping to have. Back in 2009, I might also mention that access was blocked right there to the north of Arsenega by a legal document that was not allowing that street to go forth. But now that has been removed, and so there are no complications with extending that roadway in the direction you see. As part of the agreement that they had with the city of Clovis back in 2009, as you know, the city purchased what you see there is Goodwin Lake for storm management purposes, to where they would be able to store water at that location as a part of the master storm drainage plan for the city of Clovis. But they also made an agreement with the Goodman family that should development continue, or once again be realistic in this area, they would sell back to the family the land to the east of that roadway you see for a fee that was agreed upon at that time. So from the north-south alleyway you see going from along the quarter section line there from Arsenega Drive kind of up the westerly boundary of the subdivision, that was the ownership line between the Goodwin Lake and the Iris Arbor subdivision. So you can see we're extending a little further to the west, which would be developable land, and they would have to purchase that land back from the city of Clovis. I might briefly discuss a couple of things. In that same alleyway that you see there going from south to north along the quarter section line, there's currently existing a trunk sewer line and a large trunk water line, which will loop and connect to the other sewer and water systems to the east in the Iris Arbor subdivision. And all lots within this subdivision can now be serviced by the water and sanitary sewer by looping from that said trunk line. The storm drainage water, as you can see from the contours on the map, all will flow from a northeasterly to southwesterly direction and enter the Goodwin Lake. The Goodwin Lake is maintained for that specific purpose, and so that is consistent with that usage. Should the lake ever overflow, it will overflow at the southeast corner there and will exit down Concord Road and then further on south through that quadrant of the city. But the capacity of Iris Arbor Lake, or Goodwin Lake as we show it, is sufficient to hold between 100 and 500-year storm. So I think that it's adequate for not only this development, but others within that waterway. We've been meeting with city staff, all the municipal utility companies. I think everybody has agreed and that all the utilities can be extended to service the lots. We show on their potential future fire hydrant, street lighting locations, utility easements that have been requested by the utility companies. And I feel like that all of the concerns have been taken care of. So it's probably best if I maybe shut up and allow you folks to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Leidick, for that information. With that, are there any other questions that came up while you were listening for the commission? And then,
I do have a question. Looking at this map, I'm showing that Iris Arbor Drive is going to go over the existing trails around Goodwin Lake. Is that going to be redone so that trail can exist again?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair, member. This is, yes, it will be demolished, but we will have to relocate the trail itself, and the city will be, funding for that will be identified whether or not it's to sell the land back or not, so.
okay, thank you very much. Mr. Morris, were you able to find some details on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my understanding that the zoning rate is not being changed. The zoning classification remains the same. However, the answer that I came up with is if there was a change to the zoning classification, there, number one, has to be notice of this hearing published 15 days prior to the hearing, and then number two, notice mailed to each property owner. The manner of mailing depends on how many property owners there are, so.
Commissioner Moore, did that answer your question?
Yes, and what Mr. Wilt told
I
me.
did mail notification to all property owners within 100 feet, and I got back that one response that I laid on your desk. I got that back today.
Perfect.
Jeffrey Reed, he owns the property on Arsenega, and he's just wanting to make sure that that doesn't impact his property that he plans on building an apartment or a house on right there. So
Perfect. Okay, thank you, Mr. Wilt. And from what you told me, just for the record, this development, this project here will not interfere with anything that Mr. Reed has planned for the future, correct?
correct.
Okay, good deal. So with all that being said and no questions or no further questions from the commission, I believe, and Mr. Morris will help me out here, but we can ask for a motion for this part to be approved.
Correct.
And I will ask for the motion.
I move for approval.
Second?
Second.
Perfect. We have a motion and a second, and we will go ahead and vote. You can help us out.
Chairman North,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Morrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Soul,
Yes.
Commissioner Garza,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Klein.
I'm going to abstain from voting due to a conflict of interest.
Okay, perfect. So that has been passed. Thank you. We will move now to Part B on the action items, and it is approval of zone change from residential single-family 170 district to residential single-family 7 district of the Iris Arbor preliminary plat. Said zone change to include a tract of land in the southeast quarter, Section 4, Township 2, North, Range 36 East, and MPM, City of Clovis-Carver County, New Mexico. Do we have any questions from the commission, or do we want Mr. Leidick to go ahead and explain this also?
I will go ahead and
Perfect. Staff, thank you.
make comments on that. Right now, the preliminary plat is a ranchette district. All of the properties are planning on being single-family residential. So all the property owners were notified. It's consistent with the comprehensive plan. Everybody within 100 feet has been notified, consistent with the comprehensive plan, and there's no threat to public health, safety, or welfare.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Wilt. Commissioners, are there any further questions on that particular item? In that case, I will look for a motion to approve action item B.
So moved. Second.
and we will vote.
Chairman North,
Yes.
Vice Chair Morrison,
Yes.
Chairman Moore, Commissioner
Yes.
Moore, excuse me. Commissioner Sol,
Yes.
Commissioner Garza,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Klein.
Abstain from voting.
Okay, that has passed. So we have all new items and action items for today have passed, and we will move forward. Are there any future agenda items, Mr. Wilt, that we need to discuss?
Not that we need to discuss right now.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. In that case, I will move for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
All right, this meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission has been adjourned. Thank you.